Something on your mind? Of course. Such as they are. That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands. Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fort. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfelds, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go. I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan. They'll send someone eventually. So who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim won't send. We could try to contact. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us. I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens. But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be 2 of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere. Just left? Do you mean just left Ferelden? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight will grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere. About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. Something on your mind? Of course. Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. Haven't forgotten already, have you? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills. You're telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky. Oh, I suppose the Chantry life is good enough for some. Here, we have the chance to fight against the Blight, to actually do some good instead of sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have. He was. Good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I'm done talking. Something on your mind? You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did. I handled it. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this any of us could die in battle. Bastard, not when so much is riding on us, not with the Blight and everything. I'm sorry. I'd like to have a proper future. Maybe once this is all done. I don't think he had any family. I don't know. I have no idea what the Grey Wardens do. when they fall in battle. Have you had someone close to you? Not that I mean to pry. Oh, of course. How good of me to forget. Here I am going on and on about Duncan, and you... Thank you. It was good to talk about this with a friend. It means a lot to me. I'd like that. So would he, I think. Look, before we go any further, I want to say something. I appreciate that you brought me to see my sister, and that you were there to talk me down after we left. You're a true friend. I just wanted to tell you that. That we are. I have your back. You know that, right? Well, now that that's out of the way, ask away. Of course. Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring. That's just in public. In private, we have these yellow and purple tunics, right? Much more comfortable, and you don't break the beds when you jump on them during a pillow fight. Pillow fights? I mean, no, of course not. I meant sword fights. With rusty swords, dripping with acid. The kind that puts hair on your chest. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring. Poke, poke, poke. Tell me everything about your life, Alistair. All right, if you insist. Not like we have anything better to do, right? Truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Earl Eamon had cast me off, unwanted. I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it. The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we... It was difficult, but rewarding. Never really felt at home anywhere, though, till I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful when we encountered Darkspawn magic. I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home? We won't always be traveling like this. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... Well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a... Though that seems like a far ways off. I suppose Grey Wardens are gone for good. Either way. I suppose you're right. Create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it will ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now. Ask away. Of course. You never asked? All right. If you want the full explanation, I'll give it to you. Thing is, I'm used to not telling anyone who didn't already know. It was always a secret. Even Duncan was the only Grey Warden who knew. And then after the battle, when I should have told you, I don't know, it seemed like it was too late by then. How do you just tell someone that? Yes, well, I suppose part of me kind of liked you not knowing. They treat me differently. I become the bastard prince to them, instead of just Alistair. I know that must sound stupid, but I hate that it's my entire life. Never wanted it. I certainly don't want to be king. The very idea of it terrifies me. Hello? Have you met me? I'm no leader of men. I don't want to be the person sitting on the throne and making decisions that affect the lives of others. That just isn't me. I guess I should be thankful that Al Eamon is far more likely to inherit the throne. If he's all right. Right. What it's worth? Sorry for not telling you sooner. It was a dumb thing to do. I guess it's kind of a relief that you know now. Let's go. Ask away. Of course. Never what? Had a good pair of shoes? Oh, so that's what we're talking about. Well, if you really want to know, you tell me first. I myself have also never done it. That. Not that I haven't thought about it, but... Well, living in the Chantry is not exactly a life for rambunctious boys. They raised me to be a gentleman. That's not so bad, is it? I've no urge to rush into anything. We may not even survive what is to come, after all. Enough. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's go. Ask away. Of course. You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden? You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was, you'll see. Well, it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret, it's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. I gather it's not a pleasant topic. First change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last. My face all covered in gravy. When I'd look up, the other Grey Wardens would stare and laugh themselves to tears. Really? I saw you eating dinner the other day. Savage. Ah yes, the classy camaraderie of two men travelling out in the open. I take it you were like this before the joining, then. Oh, and then there were the nightmares. Duncan said it was part of how we sense the Darkspawn. We tap into their, I don't know what you call it, their brute mind. And when we sleep, even worse. We learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. It's supposed to be worse for those who join during a blight. How is it for you? Some people never have much trouble, but that's rare. Others have trouble sleeping their entire life. More sensitive. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, that's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come. Oh, that's right. Never had time to tell you that part, did we? Well, in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age. You've got 30 years to live, give or take. The taint, it's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. There you have it. You know, Duncan, he started having the nightmares. He told me that in private. Said it wouldn't be long before he'd go to Orzammar himself. I guess he got what he wanted. Just wish it had been something worthy of him. Ending the blight. Make this all worthwhile, right? Ask away. Of course. Didn't know them for very long, but I guess it was longer than you. Never met them all, did you? They were quite a... Actually, they felt like an extended family. We were all cut off from our former lives. We also laughed more than you'd think. There was this one time... Well, you probably don't want to hear stories about men you didn't. There was one Grey Warden who came all the way from the Anderfells. What's his name? He was a burly man with the biggest, fuzziest beard you've ever seen. And the man could drink. He drank all the time, but he never got drunk. Finally, we all made a pool to see just how many pints it would take to put him under the table. Oh, I honestly doubt it. Might have tried, but this fella had a supernatural constitution, I swear. Anyhow, we never did find out. He said he'd drink a pint for every half pint that the rest of us drank. He was still going by the time the rest of us were passed out. I'm told that Duncan walked in later on and saw us all passed out from one end of the hall to the other, and Gregor still drinking. Duncan laughed until he knew. So, yes, I thought I was done with it. It just struck me that I have nothing to remember Duncan by, nothing at all. There's no body, not even a token of his that I could take with me. That must sound really stupid to you. I just would have liked something of his. Well, there's no use in moaning about it. Let's just go. I'm wondering something. I'd like to know your thoughts about some of our traveling companions. Mind if I ask? How about Ogren? Must have an opinion on the smell, at the very least. As long as he stays downwind, sure. Once he's had a bit to drink, however, forget that. There is no bit to drink with him. Where? You didn't think that big pack he brings with him is full of equipment, did you? The man is a walking brewery. Not that it's all bad. Dwarven ale has its charms, I suppose. Just don't think you need to drink to the point of blindness every time. I would too if he could stick to the ribald stories and not so much with the belching and projectile vomiting. How he lifts his sword is a bit of a mystery. Though I suppose the point is that he does lift it. And so long as we can point him in the right direction, he charges too. He has gusto, I'll give him that. Devran, the elf. Can't trust him, can you? You believe his so-called vow? Really? Why? That's a lot of trust to put in someone who tried to kill you. Well, if you are, then maybe I should too. That doesn't mean I won't keep an eye on him. Just... What about Sten? The way he looks at me with those eyes. Creepy. So quiet for someone so big. I know. The more I talk to him, the more it seems like his philosophy is not so vile as the Chantry describes it. An odd thing to think, and yet, killed all those people. He doesn't even deny it. Does that bother you? I don't know if I like the sound of that, but I guess I take your meaning. What about Liliana? Is she crazy? Or do you really believe in her vision? Maybe you're right. It's not as if she could have known that we needed help so desperately after all. Yet, there she was. I don't know what to make of her. You look at her when she doesn't see you. Just looks so sad. I almost feel guilty taking her away from my life. Yes, I know. Still, I feel badly for her. Morrigan, you trust her. Think about it. Maybe Flemeth sent her with us for some other reason than she said. And you're just going to let her follow us around? A Maleficar and make her knows what else? It is not. All right, maybe it is a little. You may have a point. Just tell me one thing. Is it true what the others say? You have a thing going with Morrigan? Tell me it's not true. You think we have better things to do all day than talk about you? Come on, tell me it's not true. You are such a terrible liar. I am so disappointed. Well, your funeral. Enough. I think my curiosity is sated. Let's get back to it, shall we? Ask away. Of course. Oh, why, you little... Oh, you're so funny. Such rapier wit. Your furry friend here took offence at me getting near his food. He snapped at me. Look. Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. Battle. I once heard a really old legend about how the Hound Warriors, days of tribes, feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. Oh, you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
Ugh, look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables. Dirty mongrel can have this back. There. Tell him not to do it again. I don't want it, you worthless fur bag. He is certainly manipulative, I can tell. I do it too.
Dog is healthy. Smell him 50 yards off. That may be so, but all the same, I would like your permission to bathe him. Excellent. I will get my soaps, and the dog shall have his bath after supper.
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Indeed.
Yes.
Have coins, fine weapon and arms, dwarven.
We have brought lyrium and begun preparations for the ritual. We can start any time. Yes, we haven't sufficient lyrium at present to send more than one mage into the Fade. It only works because the child gave himself to the demon willingly. If the demon takes over the host forcibly, we must slay the abomination. We have only enough lyrium for one attempt. I hope you succeed. Such a young lad deserves better than execution. It truly depends on the manner of demon. It sounds like a spirit of greed and desire, one of the more powerful in the hierarchy. It will likely engage you in dialogue and tempt you with an offer. Avoid it. Making deals with demons never turns out well.
I'm glad we decided to take this route. This is really the best option.
Very well. Who will go into the Fade? Then let us begin forth.
You, Connor? I can hear you! I'm coming!
Father! Where are you? I don't understand. It's so cold. I want to...
You there? Have you seen my son? I can hear him, but I cannot find him. This blasted fog has me turning in circles.
This is the Fade. Your kind cannot navigate it any more than you could navigate a dream.
I don't understand. Where is my Connor?
I will find him for you, since I foolishly gave my word that I would. Leave me to it.
No. No, you're trying to lead me astray. I do not believe you. Connor! Connor, where are you?
So be it.
Is anyone out there? Hello?
Who are you? Are you the one that made Father ill? Tell me now.
I do not have time for fool children. Now tell me where this demon is.
Fool! You won't get near. I won't let you.
I just thought all your soul would be mine!
You! You're the one making Father sick! Why do you keep hurting me? Why are you trying to stop me?
Enough of these games. Give me what I want.
Trespasser! I will drive you out!
I'll help him! You can't stop me! Get out of here! You have to get out!
father wanders, seeking me, trapped within my web. All is as it should be. Why must you interfere?
Why do you speak through illusions? Come, let us converse.
No. It is time for you to go now. Do not persist, or things will go very badly for you.
Very well. No more illusion. Now we meet face and stand. It is here I am, and yet I have no wish to engage. Or should you be so eager to engage me? Perhaps we should converse instead.
I will not become an abomination no matter what you try.
One soul I already. You need not fear me on that account. I wish.
Do you take me for a fool? I know better than to bargain with your kind.
Alas, that is. Very well then. If you wish a battle, you will. Let us see if power matches your boldness, creature.
So it is over. Connor is his old self. He does not seem to remember anything, which is a blessing. I suppose we will need to send him to the Circle of Magi's tower for training. The war is over. It's so odd to think of the boy as a mage, of all things. Eamon has much to mourn and rebuild should he recover. But at least he could be thankful that both his son and wife are safe.
I owe you my deepest thanks. I can scarcely believe Connor is the boy he once was.
There is still the matter of Jowan. His poisoning Eamon began this whole mess, yet he lives. I must decide what becomes of him. We will hold him for Eamon to decide his fate. If he doesn't recover, Jowan's fate is sealed. What do you think? What do you mean? He is responsible for many of the problems here, and is a Maleficar as well. Perhaps you are correct. That is Eamon's decision, not mine. I'm sorry. Jowan stays in the dungeon for now. But our task is not done yet. Whatever the demon did to my brother, it seems to have spared his life, but he remains comatose. We cannot wake him.
The urn of sacred ashes will save Eamon.
You found the urn? Did you bring it with you? But how can this be? Where did you find it?
Would you question a miracle, Tigan? What's important is that it is here.
You are right, of course. I can ask later. For now, let us see if the relic's healing powers live up to its reputation.
Where am I?
Be calm, brother. You have been deathly ill for a very long time. Do you remember nothing?
What are you doing here? Where is Isolde?
I am here, my husband.
Connor, where is my boy? Where is our son?
He lives. So many others are dead. There is much to tell you, husband.
Dead? Then it was not a dream.
Much has happened since you fell ill, brother. Some of it will not be easy for you to hear.
Then tell me. I wish to hear all of it. This is most troubling. There is much to be done, that is true. But I should first be thankful to those who have done so much. Grey Warden, you have not only saved my life, but kept my family safe as well. I am in your debt. Will you permit me to offer you a reward for your service? Then allow me to declare you and those traveling with you champions of Redcliffe. You will always be a welcome within these halls. And for you, Warden, a shield of the same make as those that have been given to our finest knights.
We should speak of Loghain, brother. There is no telling what he will do once he learns of your recovery.
Loghain instigates a civil war even though the Darkspawn are on our very doorstep. Long I have known him. He is a sensible man, one who never desired.
I was there when he announced he was taking control of the throne, Eamon. He is mad with ambition, I tell you.
Mad indeed. Mad enough to kill Kaelin, to attempt to kill myself and destroy my lands. Whatever happened to him, Loghain must be stopped. What's more, we can scarce afford to fight this war to its bitter end. We have no time to wage a campaign again. Someone must surrender if Ferelden is to have any chance of fighting the Darkspawn. I agree. Loghain will pay for his heinous crimes, but our armies must be reserved for the Darkspawn, not for each other. I will spread word of Loghain's treachery, both here and against the king. that it will be but a claim made without proof. Those claims will give Loghain's allies pause, but we must combine it with a challenge Loghain cannot ignore. We need someone with a stronger claim to the throne than Loghain's daughter, the Queen.
Are you referring to Alistair, brother? Are you certain?
I would not propose such a thing if we had an alternative, but the unthinkable has occurred. Tegan and I have a claim through marriage, but we would seem opportunists no better than Loghain. Alistair's claim is by blood.
And what about me? Does anyone care what I want?
You have a responsibility. Without you, Loghain wins. I would have to support him for the sake of Ferelden. Is that what you want?
But I... No, my lord.
I see only one way to proceed. I will call for a landsmeet, a gathering of all of Ferelden's nobility in the city of Denerim. There, Ferelden can decide who shall rule, one way or another. Then the business of fighting our true foe can begin. What say you to that, my friend? I do not wish to proceed without your blessing. None of this would be possible with you. You led Alistair here. You saved my life with the urn of sacred ashes. It's your lead. I am a credible enough figure in this nation to call the landsmeet, but I hold no illusions that I could face Loghain without you. Surely you. I'm not sure that would help our cause. We would become the criminals, and our accusations would become excuses. Furthermore, I'm not even certain where Loghain might be. Why do you think he had me poisoned? He wanted me gone without having to confront me directly. If I call for a landsmeet, refusing the compromise and attacking Redcliffe will only support our accusations. I'm sure he'd rather I died from the poison. Had the demon not interfered, that's exactly what... That depends. If we cannot get a consensus in the landsmeet for Alistair, we cannot afford to oppose Loghain either. Does that mean Loghain could win? A man who killed his own king, who has gone mad with power? Perhaps. We must see that he does not.
I hope that's a joke.
I hope it does not come to that. If you are suggesting surrender, consider that he has already sought your death. You think he will spare you, knowing what you know? Ferelden must stand united to defeat the Darkspawn. A fractured nation will not defeat the Blight, even given my army and those gathered with your treaties. You have already found allies, but we need those to fight Darkspawn. I truly believe the landsmeet is our best option. We could attempt to wage a military campaign against Loghain, but even if we win, would we have enough left to defeat the Darkspawn?
No, but neither would Loghain.
Perhaps Loghain gambles on this attitude, but everyone will decide facing the Darkspawn is more vital than facing him, so that he leads us against the Horde. Very well. I will send out the word. But before we proceed, I believe there is the matter of the mage, my son's tutor. He still lives, I understand.
He does. He is in the dungeon, brother.
Have him brought here, Tegan. I wish to see him. Jowan, what you have done is not in question. You tried to assassinate me and set into motion a series of events that nearly destroyed everything I cherish. What have you to say in your own defense?
Nothing, my lord. Other than to say I am sorry. I expect no mercy for what I've done.
I see. Grey Warden, have you anything to say on Jowan's behalf? You damn him with faint praise, I see. Then there is nothing more to say. Jowan, I hereby sentence you to death. May the Maker show you the mercy we cannot.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, back to the matter of the landsmeet. We should head to Denerim as soon as possible. I can delay that, however, if you have other plans. I would prefer not giving Loghain time to consider, but it is up to you. I do not wish to go to Denerim unless you are with me. As you wish. It will take time for the news to spread, and I can use the interim to get my forces organized. Please tell me when you wish to leave. Till then, you have the run of Red.
Yes, my friend.
Just back into it. You think you're swinging a broom?
She'll be up and around in no time, thanks to you.
And I'm off.
I've been hoping you'd return to Orzammar. Oh, I have so much to tell you. The other houses repaid their debts to my house. I had enough money to send an expedition into our old Tig. I found so many things. Kept some for you. I said I'd repay you, didn't I? Could never fully repay what you've done for me. Start, I hope. Walk well. May fortune always smile on you, Grey Warden.
Of the hour, supporters of disgraced Lord Balin. Going.
Now that we're back at the camp, I want to talk about what happened at Redcliffe. Yes, I know. I've had some time to think about it now. I just wanted to thank you. You went out of your way to save the Arl's family, and you did it. Though it would have been easier not to. There's been so much death and destruction. It makes me feel good. At least we were able to, no matter how small. I owed the Arl that much. You're right. Hopefully, by that time, there's still enough of Ferelden left to save. Good. Now that the warm, fuzzy part of the day is over with, we can get back to the ritual dismemberment. Oh, wait, it's not Tuesday, is it?
You are not quite as callow as I thought. That is unexpected. You're welcome. I was sent to be the eyes of the Antam. The Arishok asked, "What is the Blight?" By his curiosity, I am now here. Yes. I cannot go home. Thank you. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting. Does it matter? Very well. I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Calenhad. They came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the Darkspawn. Saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. Well, I heard the stories of Ostagar. Your kith stood their ground when others fled. No one can do more than that. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. Only know that when I woke, I was no longer among my brothers. My sword was gone from my hand. Perhaps. I searched for it, and when that failed, I asked my rescuers what had become of it. They said they found me with nothing. I did. I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down. I know I cannot justify what I have done. My honor is forfeit. That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter, unarmed and alone, to bring my report to the Arishok, would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath. I knew where to look. It would be in my hand now. Near Lake Calenhad. Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same. Why are we stopping? There are Darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful? What a strange language you speak. You say hurry, where I would say duty. No. People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of, the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty. I am. Beside, I am a Sten of the Beresad. I did not choose to be who I am any more than you did. You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight. As you wish. You called. I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware. I came to your lands with I saw the last of the creatures. I only know that when I searched for it. I did. I knew they didn't. They would know me as... I knew where to look. Near Lake Calenhad. You called. Speak, then. Ours wear the faces of men. No. Even the most cunning emissaries of the Archdemon cannot pass for men. Darkspawn, abominations, plagues, and storms. Men are far more dangerous than these. One moment of betrayal can bring more ruin than an earthquake. You know this. They are Talvashoth. They say they are Grey Ones. True in the knowledge of themselves. They are gaping holes where men used to be. Nothing can fill them. I don't know. There was a village in the mountains of Saharon. Farmers. They grew cinnamon and nutmeg trees in perfectly ordered rows. Would always be one person waiting. A foreman, a harvester, rank didn't matter. Often they would say nothing. Simply watch as we worked to examine the empty house, a new one each time, that had once been the home of a colleague, friend. We always made a point of searching. Now and then a body would turn up in a river eaten by rain and crows. More often we found nothing. Even in the worst parts of the jungle, the villagers would send someone with us. See the tiniest piece of bone or cloth. Anything contained the possibility of their lost friend. Must we speak of this? We could be fighting something. Very well. Perhaps if humans sought wisdom beyond the walls of chantries, they might find it now and then. That question was a good indicator. Wisdom is like breath. You need it, but no other can give you theirs. It's everywhere. In every moment of eternity there is a chance to find it. You have only to reach for it. There is little point in pursuing this. We should move on. Very well. Then someone should release it into the wild. It is in danger of dying out. Re-exalted marches and the Tevinter Imperium. Tell me, where is the wisdom in crying for a derelict god to save you? My people have a tale. A great Ashkari during his travels came upon a village in the desert. There he found the houses crumbling. The earth so dry and dead that the people tied themselves to each other for fear a strong wind would carry the ground out from under their feet. Nothing grew there except the bitter memory of gardens. The Ashkari stopped the first man he saw and asked what happened here. Drought came, and the world changed from prosperity to ruin, the man told him. Change it back, the Ashkari replied. The villager became angry then, believing the Ashkari mocked him, for no one could simply change the world on a whim. To which the Ashkari answered, "Then change yourself to make your own world." Believe in whatever you like, absent creators or whimsical gods. Follow prophets or Ashkari or omens in the earth and sky. You will find wisdom only if you seek it. Ashera, we should move on. Very well. When your people join us, you'll find out. Our ships will come to these shores, and the Antam will bring this land to the Kyun. But it does no good to dwell on it. Ashera, we should move on. Very well. Isn't it the nature of a wound to bleed? I have no more answers than you. Why do we fight the Darkspawn? Why do the Darkspawn fight us? You are. Why do you fight? In the Antam, we are told of the enemy. Assume he loves as you love, hates as you hate, and fights just as hard as you. It's a lie, of course. But does that matter? So long as you stand and believe you know your enemy. The Talvashoth wish us dead, and we wish to go on living. The point of our war is war. Very well. Undoubtedly, they've used it to kill countless people. So is death. I have no feelings you can hurt, Warden. Very well. Then I suggest we move on. As you wish. You called. Speak, then. And I suggest we move on. As you wish.
Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind? I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell, and the darkness drew me in. When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rose bush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. There it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith. In my dream, I fell, or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the blight devours everything? That is why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a blight to stop. Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind? My mother was from Denerim, and I consider myself a Ferelden. Mother served an Orlesian noblewoman who lived here when Orlais ruled. When Orlais was defeated, and the common folk began to resent the presence of any Orlesian, the lady returned to Orlais. She took my mother with her. I was born in Orlais, and did not set foot in Ferelden till much later. Mother was always telling me stories of her homeland. I think she missed it. Mother died when I was very young. Lady Cecily let me stay with her. I had no one else. She was quite old then, and she had me study music and dance to entertain her. It is unfair that I have more memories of Cecily than my mother. Strangely, the only thing I really remember of Mother was her scent. She kept dried flowers in her closet amongst her clothes. Small white Ferelden wildflowers with a sweet fragrance. Mother called them Andraste's Grace. They were very rare in Orlais. But enough about that. Let us move on. Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind? I miss Val Royeaux. Unlike other cities where the people are the lifeblood and the character, Val Royeaux was her own person, and her people little more than decorations. There was always music in Val Royeaux, streaming from the many windows, quiet refrains and triumphant choruses, and always, floating above that all, the chant, coming from the Grand Cathedral. It was magnificent. Oh, it would take me a day or two to talk about the many splendors of Orlais, her golden fields, her lush meadows. Of course, there are good things and bad things about Orlais, like anywhere else. Sometimes I miss it dearly, and sometimes I'm glad I'm rid of it. You will laugh at this, but I miss the fine things I had in Orlais. Dresses, fine dresses and furs, and shoes, of course. One can't mingle with nobility with bad shoes, you see. Orlais is very fashionable, almost ridiculously so. The shoes. Living with those ridiculous trends was worth it for the shoes. Perhaps. Ferelden folk are so much more practical. I don't see them making use of something simply for its looks. When I left Orlais, the fashion was shoes with delicate tapered heels and embellishments in the front. A ribbon, perhaps, or embroidery. In soft colors, of course. It was spring. I wouldn't want to run in it, or have to enter battle, but for lounging in a lady's sitting room? Perfect. The shoes made in Orlais were exquisite. Not at all like these clunky fur-lined leather boots you have in Ferelden. Ugh, just look at them. Thank you. It's kind of you to say so, even wearing these mud-covered horrors. They're sturdy shoes, but sometimes a girl just wants to have pretty feet. Oh, I could talk about shoes all day, but we have things to do, don't we? Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind? Something I can help with? What is meant by someone like me? And there were no beautiful, charming women in the cloisters, you think? You would be wrong. There were many lovely young initiates in the Lothering cloister, all of them chaste and virtuous. It added to their mystique. Because then, they were forbidden, and forbidden fruit is the sweeter, no? My fruit? Well, it is not technically forbidden, but it's not freely given either. Not everyone gets a bite. I can't believe I'm having this conversation. But no, I did not take vows. The chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed. I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on. I was just thinking about what happened to the elves, and I'm reminded of a song sung to me many years ago. It was when my mother died, and this wise elven woman comforted me and told me that we shouldn't fear death or hate it. Death is just another beginning. One day, we must all shed our earthly bodies to allow our spirits to fly free. It's a beautiful sentiment, I think. One that brings peace and hope to the grieving.
Oh
the stars are out. It comforts me to know that the stars will remain untouched by the blight. That whatever happens down here, they will shine eternally, their light undimmed. There is a story about that cluster of stars over there. Do you know it? Elindra and her soldier? A long time ago, there lived a fair maiden called Elindra. She had many suitors, but spurned them all, for she did not love them. One day, Elindra was sitting by her window in her father's castle, singing and dreaming, and her lovely voice caught the attention of a young soldier. Entranced by her song, the soldier drew near to Elindra's window. As their eyes met, he fell in love with her, and she with him. When Elindra told her father about the man she had chosen, he was furious, for Elindra was high-born, but her love nothing more than a common soldier. To keep them apart, he had Elindra imprisoned in the highest tower of his castle, and sent her soldier to the wars. Alas, not a month had passed before news of the soldier's death reached Elindra. Alone in her tower, Elindra wept for her love, and beseeched the gods to deliver her from this cruel world. So earnest was her plea that the gods themselves were moved. They gathered Elindra into their arms and lifted her high into the heavens, where she became a star. The gods also raised up the soul of Elindra's soldier love, and there he dwells, across the horizon from her. The band of stars between them is a river of Elindra's tears, cried for her lost love. They say that when Elindra has cried enough, she will be able to cross the river to be reunited with her soldier. This story is one of my favorites, a tale of a love so great and so enduring that it defies death and moves the gods to action. Sometimes I ask myself, does such a love exist? Can it exist? I think I would be lucky to experience an emotion even half as pure and true as Elindra's love. The world gets lonely too quickly if there is no one to share it with. You've seen and touched Andraste's ashes. They are the holiest thing on this earth, the remains of the Maker's chosen. Maybe it is belief and faith that imbues them with their power, or just maybe Andraste really was blessed by him. I do not know if I am worthy to look upon her. Yes, of course, but it still is something to be in awe of. Looking for little old me? Yes? What's on your mind? Where did you hear this? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers, but some of them are what we call bards. Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are. Some do. Mostly it is nobles spying on other nobles. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public, they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players. I have revealed too much, it seems. But it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past. I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry. And when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to see the Maker brought me here. Looking for little old me? That's an idea. I've watched you, and I do think you'd find some of my skills quite easy to pick up. Let's just go over there, away from the others. For safety, yes? I expect there shall be daggers flying about willy-nilly for a time. Looking for little old me? Yes? What's on your mind?
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Back off! I was here first. Why, looking to buy one? You what? Well, honestly, I don't have any swords. The spot was picked pretty clean when I got here. I got part of a glove the wolves didn't chew too badly, though. I think it was a glove, anyway. I know, don't say it, I got cheated. I knew the guy who was here before me. He sold me this spot. Said he found giants and all kind of crazy valuables. He didn't mention that he'd taken everything but the bones and the dirt already. His name's Ferrin. Squirrely little bastard, if you ask me. Which you didn't, but I said it anyway. He was going to Orzammar, he said. I imagine he's gotten there by now. If you find him, tell him I sent you. It'll scare the piss out of him. Ah.
Yes.
And I'm off. And I'm off. All right.
Oh, all back, eyes. What can I do for you? Oh, certainly. Oh, all back, eyes. What can I do for you? You've, heard of me?
Where is my sword?
I don't know what you mean, sir. I don't have it, I swear by Andraste's knickers. I sold it on the way here. A dwarf near Redcliffe, Dwyn, I think his name was. He's the one who has the sword, I promise you. Said he was a collector.
We'll see.
And I'm off.
Ugh, some fight. Reminds me why I left Orzammar in the first place. I wanted to fight Darkspawn. I'd have stayed in Orzammar. No thanks. Hey, Anything for Redcliffe, right? Whatever. First thing I'm gonna do is get some sleep. For about a week. Go celebrate or whatever it is you're gonna do. You won, right? You're a hero. Something. Go celebrate or whatever you have to do. Now, why would you be interested in that?
It's mine.
You know, Farron didn't mention the giant he took it from was alive. Excellent idea. In my strongbox. Here's the key. Now, why don't you leave me alone?
I lied to you, you know, about why I left Orlais. I didn't feel like talking about it then, what happened to me. Maybe it will affect us, maybe not, but you should know. I came to Ferelden and the Chantry because I was being hunted in Orlais. I was framed, betrayed by someone I thought I knew and could trust. Marjolaine. She was my mentor and friend. She taught me the bardic arts, how to enchant with words and song, to carry myself like a highborn lady, to blend in as a servant. The skills I learned, I used to serve her, my bard master, because I loved her, and because I enjoyed what I did. You can say it was my fault. There was a man I was sent to kill. I was to bring Marjolaine everything he carried. I don't know who this man was. She gave me a name and a description, and I hunted him down. I found documents on his body, sealed documents. My curiosity got the better of me. Something told me that I needed to know what was in those letters. Marjolaine had been selling all kinds of information about Orlais to other countries, Nevara and Antiva among others. It was treason. My life as bard taught me that my loyalties should be kept fluid. My concern was not that she was a traitor, but that her life would be in danger if she was caught. Orlais has been at war with so many countries, it takes a harsh view of such things, as I later discovered. I should have left well alone, but I didn't. I had to tell Marjolaine I feared for her life. She brushed aside my concern. She admitted her guilt, but said it was in the past. That is why the documents had to be destroyed, she said. I believed her. I kept believing up till the moment they showed me the documents, altered by her hand, to make me look the traitor. The Orlesian guards, they captured me. Terrible thing to make me confess and reveal my conspirators. It was a traitor's punishment I endured. And at the end of it, all that awaited me was eternity in an unmarked grave. The skills Marjolaine taught me were good for something at least. I broke free when I saw the opportunity. I did not seek Marjolaine out. She thought I was coming for her. She would have me caught again. I was tempted to confront her. I was furious, betrayed. But what could I do against her? And so I fled to Ferelden, to the Chantry and the Maker. Ferelden protected my person, and the Maker saved my soul. And that is the reason I am here. The real reason. No more lies between us, at least in this. I do not think so. I have not seen a shadow of an Orlesian since I came to Ferelden. It feels good to have this off my chest. Thank you for listening and understanding. Looking for little old me? Yes? What's on your mind?
Strange. I had almost forgotten it. Completion. Are you sure you are a Grey Warden? I think you must be an Ashkari to find a single lost blade in a country at war. I would thank you for this. I knew how. And I could deliver a much more satisfying answer to the Arishok's question if the Blight were ended. Don't you agree? Then lead the way.
Looking for little old me?
I have been mistaken. You are a soldier worthy to stand among the Beresad. Did not think so when we first met. You are welcome. The day will come when the Arishok sends us here. On that day I will not look to find you on the battlefield. In time. There is no point in dwelling on it. We should move on. Speak, then. And I suggest we move on. As you wish.
A long day. Rest. Welcome. Yes, of course. I am just a little weary. As you may have noticed, I'm no spring chicken. Thank you. You're very kind to say so. But in all honesty, I do not know how many years I have left in me. I have lived for such a long time, but there is always something else to do. And I have to keep going in order to do it. I think I will be glad when I am done. Oh, I really don't. Have you encountered many abominations, apart from the ones in the Circle Tower? Ah, yes, honor. The first time I saw an abomination, my blood turned to ice. It was months before the nightmares stopped. It was the knowledge that I could easily become one of them. Frightened me the most. One slip. All it takes is one slip, and everything you are is simply gone. replaced by madness. And there is no turning back, or at least that's what they say. Of late, I have begun to wonder if there is any way an abomination can be cured, or if a mage could be so possessed and still retain their sanity, their humanity. Yes, it is madness and cruelty that define abomination. If those are lacking, if the mage remembers the person they truly are, then they are not an abomination. I never saw that. Thank you for showing me another way of looking at it. So, tell me, how did you become a Grey Warden? Jarl Rendon Howe? The Earl of Amaranthine? Why would he do such a thing to you? You are the last of the Couslands? My lord? Yes, I suppose so. You can no longer have a title, can you? But that does not mean you must forget utterly where you came from. Take heart, dear friend. You survived, even when you were not expected. You do not know yet what lies in store for you, or the name you carry. It is not so bad, is it, being a Grey Warden? Sometimes it gives me comfort to think that everything will end up the way it's supposed to. That it will be all right. You were chosen. You survived the joining when others did not. Perhaps it was meant to be. I must ask, what does being a Grey Warden mean to you? There's that, of course. There's more to being a Grey Warden than killing Darkspawn and saving the world from the Blight. Ultimately, being a Grey Warden is about serving others, about serving all people, whether elves or dwarves or men. As a Grey Warden, you are a guardian of men, and you guard them because their continued existence is more important than you are. Thus it is you who serve, not they. A good king, a true king who cares for his land, uses his power to rule firmly but fairly. He serves his people first and foremost. A king who does not do this, who believes that he is entitled to his power, who abuses it and uses it for his own means, is a tyrant. If you live apart from others, and your actions affect only you, then you may do as you wish. But if you have power, influence, and strength, your every action will be as a drop of water, a clear, still pond. A drop causes ripples, and ripples spread. Think of how far they will go, how wide they will become, how will they affect the pond. But I've lectured enough for today. I should stop, or I wear out my welcome. What's on your mind? Oh, yes, and thank you for asking. I'm feeling much better today. I suppose I must be. What's on your mind? Is something troubling you? No one said it would be easy. You are one of the 2 surviving Grey Wardens in Ferelden. You defend all of us, and much rests on your shoulders. It may not mean much to you, but thank you for having the courage to continue to fight. And that gives me hope. Have you heard much about the Grey Wardens of old? Griffins. Alas, that seems to be the only thing people remember from the tales. The mighty flying mounts that bore the Grey Wardens into battle. Unfortunately, they've all passed back into the Maker's hand, so that wish will have to go unfulfilled. It was said that watching the Wardens ride in on their white griffins was enough to rouse a weary heart and put the dance back in the step of an old man. The Grey Wardens were powerful, feared and respected, but they also inspired the common people. I remember a tale that was told to me many years ago. The blight had ravaged the land for months, and the armies of the great kings had amassed for one last stand. As the sun burst through the clouds that boiled and churned in the dark sky above, it illuminated a vast, seething horde of darkspawn, with the archdemon at its head. And it was then, when courage seemed to fail, and all lost to death and despair, that the Grey Wardens came. They arrived with the beating of wings like mighty war drums, and stood before the armies of men. The Grey Wardens, grim and fearless, marched forth, ever between the men and the encroaching darkspawn. They formed a shield of their own bodies and held that line until the archdemon was dead, and the last darkspawn lay trampled in the dirt. And then, demanding neither reward nor recognition for their sacrifice, the Grey Wardens departed. When the clouds finally rolled back, and the sun shone full upon the blighted ground, the great kings knew that they had lost no men, and none of their blood had been spilled. You are observant. This is a tale about no battle the Grey Wardens have fought, and yet about them all. They have always defended us from the darkspawn, taking losses so we do not have to. People may have forgotten, but nothing. This knowledge has been blessing and burden to Grey Wardens past, and now it shall be your blessing and your burden. What's on your mind? No, you won't. You wonder sometimes, don't you, if your life would be better if you weren't who you are. When I was a young woman in the tower, I came to the realization that the circle would be my life. I would know no other. Family, love, a simple life. These were things that others took for granted, but I would never have. It made me very moody. All I could think of was being trapped in that tower with no way out and no end in sight. I started hating my life and myself, and one night I found myself in the tower's chapel. I was seeking refuge, maybe answers. I must have looked tearful or made some noise, because the revered mother came out and decided to speak to me. And because I had no one else to talk to, I talked to her. I must have said many silly things, but she told me that the Maker puts us all on our paths for a reason, and fighting our intended course is what causes so much anguish. Oh, I thought the old biddy was full of rubbish. I was 15, maybe 16, and I knew everything. So I left, but I always found my way back to that chapel. As the years passed, I began to see the truth of her words. We were supposed to be polar opposites, mage and priest, but we weren't. There was much about us that was the same. The revered mother had lived in the chantry all her life, as I had been in the tower for all of mine. She taught me that you can find your family in the people around you, that you can love your work and find fulfillment in duty. And there is joy even in self-sacrifice. If you put others before yourself, then their well-being is yours, and their happiness is your happiness. What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability. The circle is in good hands. Irving knows what to do, and he doesn't need me underfoot. For now, I will support those that battle the Darkspawn. I do feel I left things unfinished in Ostagar. There is so much left to do. I would be part of it. The Grey Wardens, all 2 of you, need all the help you can get. I will see this through to the bitter end, and after that, if I am still left standing, then I will return to the circle. Perhaps. What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability. I would be lying if I said it was easy. First, there were rules, and we were constantly watched to make sure we behaved appropriately. Then there was the study of magic. We had to cast the spells just so, control the effects completely. A single word spoken incorrectly, a gesture out of sync, and lack of focus. And we needed to have perfect focus, or we would be in danger. Without the circle and my mentors, I would not have been where I am today. And there was joy in life at the circle. The joys of fellowship, in knowing that you were not alone in your struggles. In spite of everything, I was happy in the tower, and I loved it. People don't become mages. They are born mages. The talent just surfaces later. But you are asking how I ended up at the circle. I was brought there by the Templars, just like many of the other apprentices. I don't remember very much. I was very young then. I didn't have a family. I never knew my real parents. My earliest memory was of hiding in a hayloft on a farm, trying to keep warm. I was found, and the farmer's wife was gay, but they had children of their own. I was never made to feel welcome. The eldest son was the worst. He was always calling me a stray and throwing anything he could get his hands on at me. And I don't know how it happened, but one day he just found his hair on fire. Fortunately, there was a large trough nearby. He ran screaming, dripping head and all, to his mother. I was shut up in the barn, a bowl of water and a crust of hard bread. The Templars arrived several mornings later. I'll never forget the moment the Templars led me into the entrance hall of the tower. I had never seen anything so grand in my life. I stopped being afraid then. I knew I was home. Well, that's about all there is to my tale. That's how I came to the circle. What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
right.
We must strike quickly. Nothing but excitement rattling.
Let's do this quickly, shall we? Trap. So simple to see, really. And I'm off.
Your wish?
I'll do it.
All right. Yes. And I'm off.
Moment there, I thought I thought it was all over. I will explain everything when we are back at camp. Now is not the time.
Mikro. How can I... It's you! And it's been, well, quite a while. Enough time to get to the circle and back, I hope. Oh, please tell me what they said. Ancestors, bless you. I can't believe it. There hasn't even been a dwarven observer in the circle since your Relden in the 13th century. I need to pack. No, my parents would get suspicious. I need to go. Is there anything I should bring? Books? Tuition? Of course, a reward. I was just bringing some lyrium in from the storeroom. Will that do? I have either a lyrium rune that can be implanted in any weapon, or some of the serum mages use. Which do you want? Here you go. I hope it's enough to thank you. I'll never forget what you did. If you ever go to the circle again, maybe I'll see you there.
I can't believe that scheming Harriman. Stop. You here to buy something or what? I'll take your gold. You're good for that.
All right.
A boulder dropped on me there. He is no common bandit. None of them were. Their weapons and armor are of fine make, and they are well trained. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Who are you?
Someone who regrets taking you on. Was told it would be an easy job. Kill the little red-haired girl. Deal with the others as we pleased.
Kill the... You came to kill me?
I don't pay to ask why someone wants someone else dead. I just need to know what to do and where to get my money. Ah, money. I'll be lucky to get away with my life, it seems. Maybe we could work something out. You like the idea?
Speak quickly.
I've no real quarrel with you. Wasn't me that wanted you dead. But I know how you can find the one who does. Never found out. Got the feeling the man I spoke to was doing someone else's bidding, too. I have some directions written down on how to get to the house. In Denerim. Yeah. It's the best I can do.
Thank you. Now leave. I never want to see you again.
But she said I could...
Marjolaine, it has to be. The Orlesians would not hire mercenaries. They would come after me themselves. No. If anyone, it is Marjolaine. Maybe someone saw me. Maybe she's finally found me and wants to finish what she started. Perhaps it's time to settle this score for good.
Going. Going.
I think I owe you an explanation for what happened earlier. You should know that something happened to me at the tower. You came along. Remember my apprentice, Petra? She encountered a demon in the tower. Would have killed her had I not intervened. I saved her life that day. I did not survive that encounter with the demon. Let me explain fully. I engaged a very powerful demon to rescue Petra. It sapped me of all my energy and will and left me drained. It took everything I had to defeat it. And when I was done, I no longer had the strength to keep my heart beating. I remember my life ebbing away. Everything receded from me. Sound, light. I remember being enveloped in complete, impenetrable darkness. And then I sensed a presence enfolding me and cradling me, whispering quietly to me. The sensation is impossible to describe. I was being back firmly but gently, as a mother would a child eager to slip from her grasp. I felt life and warmth flowing through my veins again. I began to be aware of small sounds and the discomfort of my hip pressing into the cold stone of the tower floor. The Fade contained spirits both benevolent and malicious. The benevolent spirits seldom make themselves known. They want nothing from mortals, unlike the demons. It was one of these spirits that saved me. Without it, I would be dead. And it has not left me. It is with me, even now, bonded to me. You see, I am supposed to be dead. It is the spirit that is keeping me in this world. And this is not the way of things. Perhaps the spirit did not expect this, but it is weakening gradually. I am living on borrowed time. Yes, that we will. What's on your mind? I have always had an affinity for the spirits of the Fade. As a child, I never feared my dreams, because I knew they were there. I could sense the demons, too, and their presence frightened me. It was the kindly spirits of the Fade that took the fear from me. I've always been able to feel the spirits, even if I never saw them. And as I nurtured my talent in the circle, I became more sensitive. I began to notice every time I was in the Fade, whether it was in a dream or in magical practice, I was being watched. I suppose they must. It is these benevolent spirits that create our dream worlds in the Fade. Sometimes I would see it, a glowing, nebulous form. Most times I would just feel its presence, gentle and comforting, but somehow alien. I think it is a spirit of faith. They have never been seen before, and perhaps I am wrong. But something tells me I'm not. It always felt like the same entity. This one spirit was curious about me, and was guarding me, for want of a better word. There were times when I was in the Fade that it seemed to stretch forth to shield me, keeping me safe. And I think it gave me strength in my most terrible battles, Ostagar being one of them. I don't know why I was chosen. Perhaps it knew that there was something more that lay in store for me. I like to think that I was given a rare chance, and I'm going to make the best of the time so generously given to me. I will not lie motionless in a bed, with coverlets up to my chin, waiting for death to claim me. It is not the death for me. And so I will fight alongside the Grey Warden, and help prepare him for the task that is yet before him. So you had better listen to me, because I swear, if I should fall before the end and you don't seem to be doing things properly, I'll get up again to give you a good finger wagging. You know, I think you'll be all right, even without my help. What's on your mind? Cure me? What, am I sick now? Even you know that you cannot cure the dead, and I'm not the only one dying. You are too. I'm just more efficient about it. Ah. Your concern is heartwarming, but death comes to everyone, and it is not something to fear. People fear not death, but having life taken from them. Many waste the life given to them, occupying themselves with things that do not matter. When the end comes, they say they did not have time enough to spend with loved ones, fulfill dreams, go on adventures they only talked about. Why should you fear death? You are happy with the life you have led. If you can look back on everything and say, yes, I am content, it is enough. I think I've led a good life, a full life, and I, for one, am not afraid of death, whatever it may bring. They say that when you die, your spirit travels through the Fade and returns to the Maker. And after that, We'll see, won't we? What's on your mind? I try not to dwell too much on the mistakes of my past, of which there are many. I would go quite mad if I did that. But I do have one regret. The greatest misstep of my life, made even more grave because it had dire consequences for someone else. Years ago, I was assigned as mentor to a lad, Anarin. He was my first apprentice. Anarin was an elf, raised in one of the elven alienages, and he was very mistrustful of humans, especially humans in authority. What Anarin needed was time. Time to get used to his new home, time to emerge from his shell. He could build a rapport. I gave him no such time. I was young and arrogant. He is a mage, I thought. He needs to grow up and act like one. I expected too much from him too quickly. I gave no consideration to his origin or his feelings, and he retreated further from me. All I could think of was how stubborn he was, how he was throwing away all his talent and his potential just to be difficult. Oh, very much so. Sometimes I would catch him practicing on his own, but if I asked him to show me what he could do, he would freeze up or fumble terribly. You cannot plant crops in the cold, wintry ground. You cannot teach a student who is closed off and unresponsive. Patience is what is needed, and I learned that too late to help him. Naren ran away from the circle one night. I had berated him over some trivial, ridiculous matter that I no longer remember. I drove him away because of something utterly unimportant. He was a child, 14 at the time of his leaving. They had his phylactery, and they hunted him down. They called him Maleficar, a mage who practices forbidden magic, deserving of death. He was a child, misunderstood and lost. I begged the Templars to tell me if he suffered, if they gave him a quick death. I got no answers. I was his mentor, and they wouldn't even tell me what became of him. I should have known better. I had the best. They were kind, compassionate. Why didn't I learn from them? I failed in it. All I had to do. He would try to talk to me, and I would tell him to concentrate on his spells. We talked about the alienage sometimes, and the Dalish. He always talked about looking for the Dalish elves. The Templars are well-trained, thorough. That he still lives would be a vain hope. The apprentices that came after Anarin benefited greatly from the lessons I learned from him. In a sense, he was my teacher, and I his student. And there it is. My story, my one greatest regret. What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability.
Looking for little old me? Indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
These ones.
Now we go into the...
Come and get it! How did I get myself into this?
All right. All right.
It's interesting and draining. I called forth the spirit that sustains me, to lend us aid. Did not realize it would take this much. Seemed a good idea at the time. A little rash. I think it may have weakened the spirit a little. Well, we can't all be quick-wit McSmarty-Pants now, can we? Apparently you have the monopoly on cleverness.
You're asking me if I have a relationship with my brother, aren't you?
Yes, I wonder what he thought of you.
I don't think he cared much about my existence. I didn't mean anything.
Did it, outsider? You saved us from the ravages of the curse after all.
May the creators bless you, truly.
Sathrian is lost to us, after all these centuries. Died heroically, I hope. I would like a happy ending to his tale. He will be a role model for many Dalish children to come. Now, Keeper Lanaya prepares for us to enter into war alongside the humans. I never thought I'd live to see this day.
I, for one, look forward to fighting against these darkspawn.
Do you now? Tell us all about them. As for you, outsider, I expect I'll be telling tales about the Grey Warden one day, hmm? Andera Natishan, Grey Warden. Join us at the fire if you like, but haven't you got a war to get to?
I appreciate you trying to find him, but what are the chances?
Anarin the healer?
You know Anarin?
He lives? No, it can't be him. Perhaps it is a common elven name.
No, I know of only one Anarin.
Ah, makes sense. Anarin said that he was from the human cities. We're old friends then.
If you seek Anarin, you must venture into the forest. He prefers to be amidst the trees and the animals.
Thank you all so much.
Dareth Shirol.
Friends, turn back, please. These woods are a danger to those who do not know the paths.
Anarin?
Wait, I remember you're younger, more impulsive, stern.
I thought they had killed you.
They very nearly did. Templars found me while I was searching for the Dalish. Ran me through and left me for dead.
I brought this on you. I was a dreadful mentor, harsh and impatient. I am sorry for the way I treated you.
I've put that behind me. You should too. I didn't fit in with the Templars in your chantry. My path lay elsewhere.
Irving is a reasonable man. He will find some way for you to return. It needs new blood. It needs to change.
I have fond memories of Irving. He was always kind to me. I will consider your proposal, and perhaps I will speak with her. However, I promise nothing. Now, it's getting late and you have much to do. Be on your way.
No, we've spent enough time on my personal affairs. Time for us to move on.
Look at this. It's the hardened sap of a tree native to this forest. Something of a lucky charm for me. Now I want you to have it.
Very well. I'm grateful. May your gods smile on you, Anarin.
And on you.
Marjolaine. We have a score to settle.
Ileana! Ah, so lovely to see you again, my dear.
Spare me the pleasantries. I know you're...
Oh, you must excuse the shabby accommodations. I try to be a good host, but you see what I have to work with. This country smells like wet dog everywhere. I cannot get the smell out. Even now it is in my hair, my clothes. Ugh. Nari mercenaries, expendable, and this way I don't have to pay them. Good for both of us. But I am not unarmed or on guard. I have more men watching, ready to attack on my word. So perhaps we should just talk now, yes?
You framed me, had me caught and tortured. I thought that in Ferelden I would be free of you, but it seems I am not. What happened to make you hate? Why do you want me dead so badly?
Dead? Nonsense. I know you, my Liliana. I know what you are capable of. 4 or 5 men you can dispatch easily. They were sent to give you cause to come to me. And see, here you are.
You are so transparent. What are you up to, Marjolaine? Why are you in Ferelden?
In truth, you have knowledge that you can use against me. For my own safety, I cannot let you be. It is you think I did not know where you were? I would not watch, my Liliana. What is she up to? I thought. Quiet life, dependent clothes, hair ragged and messy like a boy. You were planning something. So I watched. But no letters were sent, no messages. You barely spoke to anyone. Clever, Liliana, very clever. You almost had me fooled. But then, you left the Chantry so suddenly. What conclusion should I draw? You tell me.
You think I left because of you? You think I still have some plan for revenge? You are insane, paranoid.
Oh, is that what you think? If I were you, I would believe nothing she says. Not a one. She will use you. You look at her and you see a simple girl, a friend, trusting, warm. It's an act.
I am not you, Marjolaine. I left because I didn't want to become you.
Oh, but you are me. You cannot escape it. No one will understand you the way I do, because we are one and the same. Do you know why you were a master manipulator, Liliana? It is because you enjoyed the game. You reveled in the power it gave you. You cannot change or deny this.
Thank you. You will not threaten me or my friends again, Marjolaine. I want you out of my life forever. You've caused too much pain for too many, Marjolaine. It ends here.
And you think you can kill me like that? I made you, Liliana. I can destroy you just as easily.
So... She's dead. She's dead because of me. I need some time to myself. We will talk later.
Going. Your friends are formidable folk, indeed. Good to have you along on the road. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Thank you so much. You led me to an errand. You persisted, even though I was sure all you were going to find was a dead end. I will never be able to repay you for what you've done for me. Finding an errand allowed me to bring that chapter of my life to a close. I feel a great weight has been lifted off my heart. It feels like the moment before the sunrise, when all the world is still, holding its breath, waiting for night. I can stop thinking about my past and look forward to the future. My friend, you will always have my gratitude.
Yes, it is good to have my sword at my side again. I call her Asala, the soul, my soul. She is forged from rare blue steel and has served me faithfully for many years. Yes, you understand what it is like to have a weapon that is part of you. Few others do.